Hi, everyone. I'm excited to be here today to talk to you about some of the miracle stories that are happening right here in our own city, in our own state, every day. My name is Tony Kausha, and the title of our show is Tony's 50,000 Coincidence Miracles. Please note, this show is not about religion, and we're not trying to change anyone's religion, and we're not trying to get you to join any religion. It's just about miracle stories. I don't know of any religion on the planet that doesn't talk about miracles. That's why religions begin, because they have something that's telling them there's really a God. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to just talk about miracles and leave the decisions about all that up to you. So we don't care what religion you are. We just want to talk about miracles. If you are an atheist, I think you'll enjoy the program as well, although I can't guarantee you'll remain an atheist very long after you hear many convincing stories, coincidence kinds of stories about miracles. You can email me your own stories if you wish. We'll try to use all we can on the show. I can't guarantee we will, depending on volume and time, but you're welcome to send your stories on to us, and we will mention them when we can. You can send them to the following email address. But please notice that if we do use your story, we won't mention your name. We'll keep you anonymous. And we suggest that in your story, when you send it to us, don't use your correct name. That way anyone listening will not be able to figure out that it was you that sent the story in. The email address you can send your stories to is very easy to remember. It consists of 2 words and 3 numbers. The first word is Tony, spelled Tony, and the second word is and, spelled AND, and the numbers are 777. So once again, the name is Tony and 777 at AOL.com. Well, let us begin. Well, the first thing I'd like to talk about today is, again, I'm very happy to tell you that I spent about 5 hours at the beach on another day, a different day than what I've talked about in the past. I'm happy to say that I handed out 300 cards on this particular day. It was a very busy beach day. The weather was perfect. Passed out 300 cards, so touched, let's say 150 souls, if half of them read the cards. Answered about 100 questions. By the way, as you may know, I've spent 45 years teaching Sunday school. I've spent like 60 years reading the Bible, going on annual retreats. I've been on 30 annual retreats every year for 30 years and studied 30 different topics by going to specialized retreats. And I was given the mission of teaching Sunday school and reading the Bible all these years. I've attended daily Mass very often. You go daily Mass, you get a lecture from a priest every day at Mass. So I've been very well trained and very well schooled by Jesus for 60 years now. And it's delightful after 60 years that I'm out there. I was a president in 4 companies, so I had a busy life, and I was teaching Sunday school. But now I'm semi-retired. I still do some consulting work, but I'm semi-retired, and I'm out at the beaches helping a lot of people. And what I want to stress for you is the answers to questions. People ask penetrating questions. They condemn the church. They condemn every church. And a lot of people are out there saying they don't bother going to church anymore because the churches are all screwed up. They say things like that, but they don't really know it's true. And the facts are these. There are many books written over the last 2,000 years, 2,000 years of books. There's lots of answers. Like, how do you know there's a God? Well, there's thousands of books out there, thousands of books that say, how do you know there's a God? It answers the question. If you read one of those books, you'll get an answer. How do you know God loves you? There's thousands of books that say God loves you. How do you get to heaven? There's thousands of books that tell you how to get to heaven. So it's not that the answers are not there. People just don't look for them. You don't have to read all the books. You can belong to a church and ask your ministers. Go to a church, ask your ministers stories. Every week, ask one question, just one question. Every week, after 10 weeks, you'll ask 10 questions, and you'll see the answers are there. Ask the pastor, how do you know there's a God? How do you know God loves you? How do you know you can get to heaven? Ask one question a week, you see. So my role, because I've spent all these years bumping into all of this, I didn't know it at the time. I was learning for me. I was really learning for me. I wanted to know the answers. So I went out to find the answers. And when I found the answers, my pastor told me to teach Sunday school. Then I had to do a lot of research to answer the students' questions. So I've been doing research for 60 years. So I have a lot of answers. I don't have all the answers. But I want you to know, if you're out there thinking the churches are messed up, that's not true. The churches have all the answers. Nobody's asking them. They have the books. They read them. The leaders of churches have gone to college and read a lot of the books. So they have the answers. And they've studied the masters of religion, Thomas Aquinas and St. Benedict and St. Dominic, St. Anthony. They've read the life stories of the saints. So don't fool yourself to think that the churches are messed up. It's not the churches messed up. It's the people not attending churches, okay? And look at the churches as colleges, okay? They are colleges that teach you about God. And I don't tell you what religion to join. Just, go to a religion and get started. All the religions have a lot of basic fundamentals they agree on, so there are other things they disagree on. But okay, I just want to get the point out there. If you think the churches are all messed up and people are all confused about God, you should do a little research. You find out that there are a lot of people out there that know the right answers, okay? So I'm very happy to tell you I was having a great time out in this particular week. I was able to answer a lot of people's questions, and that's my role right now. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. Now, one thing that happened on this particular day, I can tell you that it happened, so you can see how God says in the Bible that He shows signs and wonders when God is using you. He's going to send you a clue. You're going to be able to point to a clue that proves that God is dwelling within you. Let me say that again. When God is using you, God will show you a clue that proves that He's in you, loving you, okay? And that's in the book of Mark. At the end of the book of Mark, the last two sentences, that's what it says. He sent people out. God sent people out to preach. And it says they were attended by signs and wonders and clues, okay? That's what it says. So I'm telling you that I've been doing this for years, and I get clues. I'm going to share one with you now. So while I was out at the beach answering people's questions, passing out the cards, I got to a place where there were two women, and I was talking about the book and my website. They asked a lot of questions. And in the process, I got an inspiration from God to give them an example. And I got inspired what to say. And so what I said to them was, I said, well, let's imagine that there are two women going on vacation, and they live in Argentina. Well, that's all they had to hear. They stood up. They were all excited. They were laughing. They were clapping. I said, what's going on? And they said, you said there were two women from Argentina, and that's where we're from. We are immigrants here, like over the last 7 to 8 years. We have immigrated, and now we are citizens, but we are two women from Argentina, and we came here on vacation one year, and you just brought it up, and we're all excited you're talking about us. So what I'm trying to tell you is this is a sign that God gave to me and to them, but to me, that I was doing God's will, because I got inspired to say this example, and it just popped into my head, say two women from Argentina. I could have said two people from Kansas, two people from Norway, but I said Argentina, and how did I know? I didn't know. And they asked, how did you know? I said, I didn't know. But when you're working for God and you do what He says, He gives you the right things to say, okay? So this is a little clue. The other clue is when I was going to the beach, as I entered the beach, as I entered the parking lot, I was following a car, and it had a license plate number 777 on the plate on the way in. And when I left the beach that day, as I was driving out, I was following another car with 3 sevens. And let me say that again to be very clear. I got to this beach, and as I was driving in the main entrance, I noticed I was following a car with 3 sevens on the license plate. And as I left the beach later, 5 or 6 hours later, there was another different car with 3 sevens. One was from New York. The other one, I think, was from Connecticut. So, God gave me those clues. I drove an hour and a half to get there at a certain speed. And when I got to the entrance, I was in back of a car with 3 sevens. I spent 5 hours or so, 5 or 6 hours at the beach, and I happened to leave exactly at the moment that another car with 37s was in front of me. Now, I didn't orchestrate that, but I'm trying to tell you that every day of my life, I get things like this happening to me every single day for the last 50 years. So I'm positive that God is doing it, and I'm trying to convince you only so that you'll start noticing in your life when this is going to start happening to you. 1 hour after you read my book, 1 hour after you read my book, you'll start having these things happen to you, because God's goal is to get your attention, talk to you, and then start showing you that he's with you, just like he shows me that he's with me. So God has a plan. And the plan is he wants everybody on the planet to know that he's with each person totally, singularly, as a personal friend, constantly all day long. You have God, he never leaves you, and I have God, he never leaves me. Our next coincidence miracle story is from a listener who tells us they were driving, out on the road driving, and they came to an intersection where there was a four-way stop sign, four-way red light, I guess, and they got there at the same time as somebody else coming from a different direction. So he waved the other person on and let them go first. And when he let the other person go, he noticed the car in back of them had a license plate 37s, which he would not have seen. He would not have seen that if he did not wave them on, if he went ahead and took the first position. And he could have done that because he was there first, but he gave up the right-of-way and let the other person go. And this is a case, you see, where he got inspired to do that, to do a good deed. He's just giving somebody a break, let them go first at the intersection. And by doing that good thing, God showed him that God was leading him, because now he sees the 37s that he would have never seen because it was right behind the car that he let go pass through, okay? So I hope you're getting the point that if you try to do God's will, he's going to keep showing you these wonders, which again is in the book of Mark, the last chapter of Mark, the last 3 lines says that God will send you signs and clues when you're doing his mission and preaching for him. Our next coincidence miracle is from another beach day where I spent the day at the beach passing out cards. And on this particular day, I was inspired to go to a certain beach in a certain order. There's 4 parking lots at this beach, and I was inspired to go to beach 1 first, and then to beach 3 next, and then to beach 2 after that. And that's the order I was supposed to go. And I did that order, and what happened was I wound up meeting 4 people on one beach, 4 different blankets. There was somebody who was reading our book at the beach. Well, in 2 cases, they were reading the book right there at the beach when I got there. And the other 2 cases, they had already read the book and passed it on to somebody else. So the great gift I got by going where I was told to go at the right times, you see, if I went at different times to the beaches, I would miss these people, because most people are at the beach a couple of hours or a few hours. So I know when I follow the inspiration to go to the beaches I'm told to, I get miracles like this. So I met 2 people who had read the book already and passed it on, and 2 people who were reading the book there at the beach. Then I met a married couple and 3 kids who were praying that day. They went to beach number 3, and they just got there when I got there. So you see, following the inspiration of God, I got to beach number 3 at the same time as the 2 parents and 3 kids. They were praying that I would show up that day because I gave them all 5 miraculous medals about a month earlier, 5 miraculous medals, and 2 of the kids lost their medals, and they were hoping they would meet me to get 2 more medals. God bless you all. I'll talk to you next week.